After the 1979 revolution, Iran transformed into an Islamic Republic under Ayatollah Khomeini, blending democratic elements with Islamic law. The Iran-Iraq War, 1980–1988, devastated the country but strengthened national unity. Post-war reconstruction under President Rafsanjani focused on economic recovery despite sanctions. Reformist President Khatami, 1997–2005, promoted political openness, but conservative opposition limited progress. Tensions with the West escalated over Iran's nuclear program, leading to sanctions and international isolation. The 2009 Green Movement protests exposed public frustration with political restrictions. The 2015 nuclear deal offered hope but collapsed after U.S. withdrawal, reinforcing Iran's resilience and regional influence amid ongoing challenges. Let's travel to the history. After the 1979 revolution, Iran underwent profound transformations, with the newly established Islamic Republic reshaping every aspect of Iranian society. The revolution's ideals focused on Islamic governance and independence from foreign influence, but the new regime faced immediate challenges, both domestically and abroad. Among the most significant of these was the Iran-Iraq War, a brutal 8-year conflict that would define Iran's early years under the Islamic Republic and leave lasting scars on its people and infrastructure. Despite these challenges, Iran managed to rebuild, assert its influence in the region, and navigate an evolving and often contentious relationship with the global community. After the revolution, Iran's new government was organized as an Islamic Republic, with Ayatollah Khomeini as its supreme leader, the highest authority. The new constitution blended democratic elements with Islamic law, establishing an elected parliament and president, while placing ultimate power in the hands of the supreme leader and the clerical establishment. This system of governance, known as Vilayat Faqih, guardianship of the jurist, was rooted in the belief that a senior Islamic jurist should oversee governance to ensure it adhered to Islamic principles. Khomeini's government quickly set about restructuring Iranian society according to Islamic ideals. Women were required to wear the hijab. Western influences in media were curtailed, and Islamic law was integrated into the judicial system. Many Iranians embraced these changes, seeing them as a return to moral and cultural values. However, some Iranians, particularly those who had hoped for a secular democracy after the revolution, felt alienated under the new Islamic order. The government also cracked down on dissent, targeting opposition groups, including leftists and other factions that had initially supported the revolution. This consolidation of power allowed the new regime to stabilize but sowed seeds of discontent that would resurface in future generations. In September 1980, just a year after Iran's revolution, Iraqi President Saddam Hussein launched a surprise invasion of Iran, sparking a devastating war that would last for 8 years. Hussein aimed to capitalize on Iran's internal chaos, hoping to seize disputed territories along the Shatt al-Arab waterway and prevent the spread of Iran's revolutionary fervor to Iraq's own Shia majority. However, he underestimated Iran's resolve. The war was marked by brutal trench warfare, chemical attacks, and heavy casualties on both sides. Iran, still reorganizing its military after the revolution, faced a severe disadvantage initially, but quickly mobilized its people in a nationalist and religious fervor. Young volunteers, often inspired by religious martyrdom, joined the fight, becoming symbols of resistance. The war strengthened Khomeini's regime, rallying Iranians around the defense of their homeland and the ideals of the revolution. Despite Iran's determined resistance, the war took a heavy toll. By its end in 1988, hundreds of thousands of Iranians had died, with many more injured, and infrastructure in western Iran lay in ruins. The economy was severely weakened, and the psychological impact of the war weighed heavily on the population. In July 1988, after years of stalemate, Khomeini accepted a ceasefire, describing it as drinking from a poisoned chalice. The war ended without clear victory for either side but had a lasting impact on Iran's identity, resilience, and approach to foreign policy. After the war, Iran faced the enormous task of rebuilding its economy and infrastructure. Ayatollah Khomeini's death in 1989 brought Ayatollah Ali Khamenei to the position of supreme leader, while a pragmatic cleric, Ali Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani, became president. Rafsanjani's administration focused on reconstruction, attempting to revive the economy by promoting private investment and reducing state control. Iran began rebuilding cities, factories, and schools, and sought to improve its relations with neighboring countries to attract foreign investment. Economic recovery was slow, however, due to the war's aftermath and ongoing international sanctions. The U.S. had imposed sanctions following the hostage crisis in 1979. And Iran's strained relations with the West continued to limit its access to international markets and capital. The government adopted a dual economic strategy, seeking economic self-sufficiency while navigating the complexities of limited foreign trade. By the late 1990s, Iran's younger generation, born after the revolution, began to express a desire for reform. In 1997, Mohammad Khatami, a moderate cleric, was elected president on a platform of political reform, advocating for greater social freedoms, increased political participation, and improved relations with the West. Khatami's presidency marked a period of relative openness. His policies encouraged cultural expression, promoted dialogue with Western nations, and aimed to address the aspirations of Iran's youthful population. Khatami's efforts, however, faced resistance from conservative elements within the government, particularly the judiciary and the supreme leader. Although he pushed for reforms, many of his initiatives were blocked or undermined, leading to frustration among his supporters. Nonetheless, Khatami's presidency brought issues of civil rights, freedom of speech, and democratic reform to the forefront of Iranian society, setting the stage for future political debates. In the early 2000s, Iran's nuclear program became a central issue in its relations with the West. Iran maintained that its nuclear ambitions were purely for peaceful energy purposes, but suspicions grew that it might be developing nuclear weapons capabilities. This led to a tense standoff with the United States and its allies, who feared that a nuclear-armed Iran would destabilize the region. In 2005, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, a hardline conservative, was elected president. Ahmadinejad's rhetoric and policies marked a departure from Khatami's reformist approach. He took a defiant stance on Iran's nuclear program, arguing that it was Iran's sovereign right to pursue nuclear energy. His presidency saw a return to more conservative policies domestically and heightened tensions internationally. The United Nations imposed additional sanctions on Iran, further isolating the country economically. In 2009, Ahmadinejad's re-election amid allegations of widespread fraud sparked the largest protests in Iran since the revolution. The Green Movement, named for the campaign color of reformist candidate Mir Hossein Mousavi, mobilized millions who demanded fair elections and democratic reforms. The government responded with a severe crackdown, deploying security forces to disperse protesters, and arresting activists, journalists, and opposition leaders. The Green Movement exposed deep divisions within Iranian society, revealing a population increasingly frustrated with limited political freedoms and economic hardships. Although the protests were ultimately suppressed, the movement highlighted the potential for change and underscored the importance of social media and digital communication as tools for political organization. In 2013, Hassan Rouhani, a moderate and pragmatic politician, was elected president. Rouhani aimed to improve Iran's economy and end its international isolation. He entered into negotiations with the P5-1, the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council plus Germany, to reach a nuclear agreement. In 2015, the landmark Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal, was signed. Under the deal, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. The JCPOA was initially seen as a breakthrough, leading to improved relations with the West and a period of economic optimism. However, in 2018, the United States under President Donald Trump withdrew from the agreement, reinstating sanctions on Iran. The U.S. withdrawal and renewed sanctions severely impacted Iran's economy, causing inflation and economic hardship for its people. This development fueled further mistrust of Western intentions in Iran and increased support for hardline elements within the government. In the years since, Iran has continued to navigate a complex political landscape. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei remains the supreme leader, and conservative factions have grown stronger, especially following Rouhani's tenure. In 2021, Ebrahim Raisi, a conservative cleric with strong ties to the judiciary, became president, marking a shift back toward hardline policies, despite internal challenges. Iran has maintained its influence in the region, supporting allies in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. The nation's role in regional politics has made it a central player in the Middle East, while its nuclear ambitions and strategic maneuvers continue to be focal points of international diplomacy. Today, Iran is a complex nation where tradition and modernity intersect. The Islamic Republic, now over 4 decades old, has weathered international isolation, economic hardship, and internal dissent. Its political structure, balancing limited democracy with clerical rule, remains unique in the world, and its cultural resilience is evident in its vibrant art, literature, and cinema. The legacy of the 1979 revolution lives on, shaping Iran's identity and its people's ongoing quest for self-determination and respect on the global stage. Iran's history since the revolution tells a story of resilience, a society that has continually adapted to shifting challenges while maintaining its distinct cultural and political identity. As it moves forward, Iran faces the task of addressing its young population's aspirations, managing regional tensions, and navigating an evolving relationship with the global community. The choices it makes will continue to shape not only Iran's future but also the future of the Middle East.